Ok, ahí estamos. Ahora sí.
Estoy aquí, papi.
Hoy es domingo. Sí, domingo 26 de mayo y son las 1:02 de la tarde en Puerto Rico, horario especial. Lo bueno que fuese a las 1 y como quiera, aunque sea domingo, empezamos tarde como siempre, pero estamos live por Facebook, por YouTube y por Instagram con otro episodio del podcast Más Pegado del Futuro, un episodio bien especial en lo que aparece la gente y se va conectando en este episodio especial. Pues ponte la música de intro de Frank para arrancar esto como se supone.
¿De quién es? ¿De quién es?
Ya llegó el coño show, el coño show. Ya llegó el coño show, el coño show, el coño show, el coño show. ¡Wow!
Saludos y bienvenidos a todos los coñistas y coño escuchas que decidieron darle play. ¡Bien! A otro episodio del podcast Más Tecato del Futuro, coño, el show. Mi nombre es Carlos Ortiz, custodio de Leche Coco Productions, y me acompañan el símbolo sexual sexy de Leche Coco Productions, Frank the Tank.
Leche Coco Day Drinking, eso no es usual.
Hace tiempo no lo hacíamos. Tenemos también al cofundador de Leche Coco Productions, Héctor Tomás Picón, alias Tomer.
Yo me lavé la boca para este episodio. Para ti.
Tenemos al wrestling fan que más sabe de películas, Norbert.
Hola. Yo me lavé la boca y desayuné sobras de Olive Garden de ayer para prepararme para este podcast. Y como el episodio especial, mi computadora no sirve hoy y estoy desde mi celular. Tremendo. Es domingo.
Y tenemos nuestro invitado hoy bien especial, directamente desde Bélgica. Tenemos a Daniel Diaz de Diaz Brewing. Welcome, Daniel, to the podcast.
Let's go.
Glad you can
Yeah.
Right now in Belgium, it's 7 p.m., right? Around 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's a little bit after 7 right now, but
Okay.
The sun's still out, so we're good.
Good. So we invited Frank and I met Danny back when we visited Belgium last year, and we went to a beer fest that Daniel had recommended that was really freaking cool. And we met there, we chatted, and we talked about doing a podcast, having him here and tell us the story behind Diaz Brewing and all that, because it's just, I find it amazing anytime you find out there's a Puerto Rican like doing something cool and outside of Puerto Rico, and even more so outside of US, like in Europe. That's really cool. But before we get into all that, let's start out, we always do, with what we're having. So, Frank, ¿qué te estás tomando?
¿Cómo hacemos esto? ¿Nos mantenemos en inglés y ya?
Inglés, español, como tú quieras.
Hazlo.
So I'm drinking Cadenza here from Box Lab Brewing. It's a dry hop sour with sea salt, and I think it's like 4% ABV. So it's really good.
Yo no sé. It's nice. Salud. Ni sabía que, I didn't know they had that again at the brewery. So, salud. Tommy, ¿qué estás day drinking?
Yesterday we had fun. Last night we had fun at Lado, right? So we tried the new Capitan Correa. I had a couple of those. One of them is okay. Two is like too much. It's 10%. So
yeah, 9%, right?
So today I'm drinking. I'm gonna blow your heads off with what I'm drinking. Medalla. I'm all fucked up. You know how it looks like.
This is that is what I drink in Puerto Rico on Sundays. So that's not away from reality. To be honest, I would be drinking medalla at the beach in Puerto Rico right now. So
yeah, of course. No, I wanted to. I wanted to go to the beach. That's why I have some. So, but I couldn't do it. So, because I woke up fucked up.
yeah,
I actually woke up the same way, but when I got from Al lado back home, and I did have two Capitan Correas too, which are 9% ish, and then some more beers like 4 Frente Frio. But
Yeah.
when I came home, we were Frank and I were talking right there in the front yard, and I wanted some cold water, and there wasn't any in the fridge. And I felt like the closest to it is a medalla, so I grabbed a medalla, and I woke up fucked up, but I blame it on the medalla.
Took him 3 hours to finish that medalla too.
Y saludos a Sabriel que está por ahí conectado. Saludos, Sabriel, bonito domingo a ti también. Pero sí, entonces Norbert, desde Minnesota.
yeah. I wanted to drink something on the lighter side because it's noon in Minnesota, so I'm gonna be fucked up today. So let me start a little bit slower than usual. And this is from 56 Brewing here in Minneapolis. Yeah, this is literally how it's called. Yeah, and this says over here that this is a lager with personal marks. So if you can see the screen, so this is 4.6 ABV. How do I say Gozaera in English?
That was
I haven't found the English counterpart. Let's say it's 4.6% of Pavi. Yeah, and this is how the beer looks. For the people looking at the video, it's pretty. Looks pretty light. It looks pretty good. This is literally the first sip I'm gonna give. So,
How is it?
pretty good. Pretty good. It got a personal flavor. Good for day drinking. To be honest, very light and good. So, cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Salud.
Salud, cabrón.
Cheers.
Daniel, are you having anything or are you dry?
I gotta have something, man.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah, so
having?
it's our new Imperial Stout. Hold up, let me see if I can see it.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's 10.3%.
Whoa.
It's Imperial Stout base, but it has Mexican ancho chilies.
Nice.
We use full vanilla beans in it from Uganda, a little bit of cinnamon, and then cacao nibs that we add in the fermenter too. So it's
Nice.
super chocolate, thick body. Yeah, after you have one, that's it.
And is it and is it sort of spicy with the chilies like?
The chilies, I took all the seeds out of them, so you just get like a little tiny, like a spiciness, but it's not like
It doesn't-
spicy.
like it
It's
doesn't-
like a kick. So some beers with that have that kick in the aftertaste. Like
Yeah, and then there are some that they just like it gets caught on your throat like that spiciness, that hotness.
Yeah, that's definitely what I didn't want to do because I had some of those where it's like you're drinking hot sauce. And
yeah.
you only want a couple of sips and that's it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that explains why you removed that shit. Nice.
Yeah, so I took the seeds out for that one. And then we got this one too. I don't know if you can see that.
The first one was called Diaz de los Muertos, right?
Yep. And then this one, La Rose de Diaz. It's right there. So it's a Rose IPA. It's our IPA base. And then during the whirlpool in the brewing stage, I add about a kilo of rose petals, throw them in.
Okay.
And all it does is I dry hop it, do everything as normal, like a normal IPA. And then that rose comes after probably a month or so. The rose starts to get a little bit more present in the balance, but it doesn't take over. It's not too much floral taste or anything like that. So that's probably the beer. It's the first beer that we came out with, and I've been tinkering with that recipe for the longest out of all my beers.
You feel like right now is like can you leave it like it is right now, or do you still want to tinker more with it?
I'll still probably tinker with it. I do that with all the beers. I can't leave it alone.
Yeah, like a muralist walks by a mural that's supposed to a mural of his own that's supposed to be finished, and if he has a brush or something, he will go ahead and yeah. Yeah. So over here I'm having. Estoy igual que los muchachos. I'm started light because last night was a long night, and after this, we're planning to go to another beer release party. So, estoy suavecito. This is a Mexican lager from Ocean Lab. Viva la Chela! Mexican lager. This is about 4.5 party, 4.5% of party. This is how it looks. It's really light, refreshing, perfect for a Sunday day drinking. Instead of medalla, I recommend this every time.
Yeah, it's I do my basketball podcast on Sundays, so I'm feeling I do this on Sundays. How about you guys? How you feel about
weird.
doing this on a Sunday?
I feel weird.
I like it.
It's reminding me when we used to do the other podcast on Sundays. It doesn't feel so weird for me because I used to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, to me, it does feel kind of weird. I was like, it's not the right time. It's not the right day. Like it's like getting ready, everything here. I'm looking for the glasses and the beers. Why am I doing this at this time? It's odd. I didn't work today. Like typically we do it on Monday, so I do it right after I got off work. I start preparing for the podcast, but this time was like wake up and get ready. But yeah. So Daniel, you're originally from Connecticut, was it right?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut. Born and raised in Connecticut, but my family is from Mount Albel. From the southeast near Humacao, and but yeah, I was born in the States. Joined the Army when I turned 19, and then that's how I ended up in Belgium. So I got stationed in Belgium, and got out of the Army while I was here. Worked for the Army for a little bit as a civilian, and started home brewing. And
what got you into homebrewing? Like, what was it that?
Over here, it was hard to find IPAs, and that's the beer style that I liked. So over here, you could find all the traditional Belgian beers, the Trappist beers, and other European beers like lagers and stuff from Germany. But over here, all of the American beer styles, you couldn't find them, and if you could find them, they were like old IPAs, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like from so you're getting stuff that was not even fresh anymore. And then
just like in Puerto Rico.
It happens here. So they were imported IPAs, or?
Yep. So they were getting a lot of like American imported IPAs, and then it seemed like a lot of the Belgian brewers over here were trying to imitate IPAs, like American IPAs they were tasting. So it was still definitely not an IPA. You know what I mean? You wouldn't consider it an IPA. So
yeah, it would Do you think it's hard for Belgian brewers to get away from the Belgian yeast since it is so much part of the culture over there?
Yeah, right now there's like the craft beer scene is still kind of new. It's crazy to say that, but the scene over here is new. So you're getting a lot of newer brewers coming out doing um, like craft styles. But if you go to like local festivals, you're only gonna see like Trappist beers and like the usual Belgian style beers. So right now, if you ask somebody about an IPA, if they're not a beer nerd, they're not gonna know what an IPA is, or they're gonna say
So
they only think of a West Coast IPA or one style, and they think that that's IPA. You know what I mean?
so you doing something different. How has been the reception of your beers?
They
So do
love it
people
right
like
now.
it? Do people, sí.
Yeah, right now, because it is something new. Even the older generation, when we go to small festivals around here, and they try the beer, it's eye opening to them because it's something that they've never tried before.
Yeah,
But
yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, when you go to the bigger cities, they're starting to see more and more like craft breweries starting to open up and more tap rooms, more craft style beers coming out now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I noticed that coming from America to Belgium to visit, like uh, as you said, most of the beers that you can find are just Belgian styles, like the lambics, the Trappist, and all that. And then talking to people, you would get like they would recommend places, but they would call it experimental breweries.
Yep.
And when you go over there, to us, it's not experimental at all. It's just basically American styles. They're doing sours and they're doing stouts, American IPAs. But for over there, for the culture there, they consider that like experimental because it's not the norm. It's that's why I mentioned like getting away from that Belgian yeast seems to be like something odd for brewers in Belgium.
Yeah, it's hard. If you're trying to stay local, do things local. If you're not exporting to France, Spain, Italy, those are and probably the Netherlands. Those are the bigger countries to kind of export craft beer around. But if you're staying local in your small towns or cities like that around here, yeah, you have to have something that's kind of a bridge kind of beer. You know what I mean? Something that maybe a saison that's dry hopped or something that you can give to somebody that to at least have them try it. If they like it, then they'll try some other stuff.
So you started homebrewing because you wanted an American IPA over there in Belgium and you couldn't find it. So you bought your kit and just started brewing, like started learning on your own, or
Yeah, so I started with like a 5-gallon kit, just like most home brewers, and was just started off with one kit. It was like an IPA kit that I had gotten online, and then after I bottled it and tried it the first time and had other people try it and they loved it, then I was instantly hooked and I was brewing every week. You know what I mean? Had too much beer that I couldn't drink by myself or with friends. So, yeah, I had to get bigger and bigger equipment, more fermenters, so then I can have more beers on at the same time. And then, yeah, we got to a point where I was doing some test batches for breweries over here, since I had a smaller system than what they had. And at that point, then I was like, well, maybe I do have something. You know what I mean? Like when you're home brewing, you don't know who your people
if
are
there's
just going to say.
if there's an audience if there's
exactly. Yeah, especially like you said over here, they stay to their traditional style. So all they see is the color of the beer and that's it. So if it's a blonde beer or if it's a dark beer or an amber beer or a sour, those are the 4 styles over here pretty much if you talk to an average consumer. So yeah, I started testing some stuff out and giving it to people I can trust, other brewers, some people who own bars and things like that, and kept getting positive feedback. So
that's how you decided, like, let's take this to the next level.
Yeah, I was already brewing like 10-gallon, went from 5 to 10 to 15. So it was ended up now we're doing like 2-barrel batches, still small. We're still hoping to move into a bigger location. We kind of maxed out where we're at right now. I can't fit nothing else in there. Every time I buy something new, I have to move things around or take things out. So,
and that's that's eventually you opened up your brewery up to the market, like started selling actually selling the beer, right? Was that what you mentioned me back when I was there, like that it coincided with the pandemic, like it was really bad timing because of the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we opened 2021. Like officially open, first beers came out 2021. It just right when we were getting ready to open up, that's when the pandemic hit. So originally we were going to do a brew pub as for our business plan, and then we ended up just switching to 100% production. Just try to test the waters, see if people were liking the brands. Got our name out, so we started doing a bunch of beer festivals that year, and just kept getting positive feedback. And in our area right now, we're one of the top breweries for like the French-speaking part of Belgium on Untapped.
Nice.
And it's really hard over here, as you know. It's all traditional brewery, Chimay, Rochefort, all those types of breweries. So
yeah, that's something I saw you had on your Instagram profile, that on Untappd you got voted like the best brewery in a certain area where your guys are located. Where is that your guys are located?
Yeah, so we're on the south part of Belgium. Belgium is broken up into 2 parts, or technically 3 parts. But the 2 major sides, the south speaks French, and then the north of Belgium speaks Dutch. So we're in the French-speaking area of Belgium, and then so we're pretty much, if I get on the highway, I drive 10 minutes, I'm in France. So we're really close to France.
Oh, that's awesome. That's congratulations on getting voted like the best top brewery in Hainaut. How do you pronounce it? Eno. Okay. Got a couple of friends. Beer heads from here from Puerto Rico that travel. We did that, and I know Billy Norris is the owner of the local homebrew shop. He went recently. We have other friends that also big beer heads are planning to go on October to Belgium. So it's good that if they're connected, if they listen to this afterwards, to know where you are, how to find you. Even though you don't have an actual tap room, can they find your beers like in that region, or can they like are?
Yeah, right now, trying to be strategic since we don't have as much beer, and like a lot of the beer festivals that we were doing, like where we met up, it's like an hour and a half away from where I live right now. So we have beer pretty much around Belgium. But if somebody wants something, just let me know and we can link up, or I'll let them know where they can find it. But
Nice.
We've got stuff in Brussels, stuff in Flanders, all around our area. Pretty soon we should have beers going to Spain. So
Nice.
Yeah, we're trying to do a little bit of something.
And what about open up like the original plan of having a tap room right there in the forest, like?
Yeah, so we're in the works with that. So our brewery is literally right in the middle of a forest. So you have to drive like on a dirt road to get into the brewery. So we've been working with the city and all of that, trying to see what we can do. Obviously, they don't want to deal with too much traffic coming into the forest. So, but we're gonna work out something. So hopefully, we do something this upcoming year. That's the plan.
Another not only were you voted best brewery in Inu, you also got voted best pumpkin beer in Belgium, right?
Yeah, they came out with those community awards on Untapped, and we ended up winning best pumpkin beer. Yeah.
Okay, tell us a bit about that beer.
So that beer is like a American amber ale kind of base, and spiced it with all different pumpkin spices, allspice, cinnamon. We use whole vanilla beans for that one too. And it's just a beer style that in Belgium not many people know of. So they either love it or hate it.
Yeah, just like everywhere else.
So it's not my favorite style of beer, but the people love it, I guess. So
It's the like the advantages or being like being innovating in a place where like there isn't anything like that. So maybe you're the only one who's doing it or doing it right. Doing it the because that's really popular in America because of Thanksgiving and fall and all that, all the fall festivities.
Yeah.
But but it's the same. Either you love it or you hate it. There's people who hate the pumpkin style, but
But that pumpkin beer sounds way more better than the usual pumpkin beer we get. Like we're talking about something good with banana beans and different spices, not the crap that we get on Thanksgiving. So, I should try it.
yeah, my daughter is the one. They have like those pumpkin picking areas where you can go pick your own pumpkins. So now it's been a thing that every year I take my daughter and we go pick the pumpkins that we're going to use for the beer. She helps me with the labels. So now it's kind of like a family tradition kind of thing.
Tradition.
nice.
Awesome. That's good.
So you mentioned that style pumpkin beer is not your go-to, but like your favorite style or anything. But you did mention that IPAs was your favorite style. How hard is it to get American hops over there in Belgium for the IPAs?
That was hard for a while, but now Yakima Chief opened up a European hub in Belgium now. So
Nice.
so now we're able to get like American hops fresh. But yeah, before it was a lot harder to get. Back then I was still ordering from the States and having it shipped over, which was crazy expensive. But now there's a distributor actually here, so that makes it a little easier.
Nice. Norbert se fue, que te iba a decir. Pues, Fran, pregúntale por la beer que tú querías preguntarle. Está en mute.
Yeah.
You're on mute.
So I was looking at on tap the different beers you guys have put out, and I noticed you have one called Frank the Tank. Can you tell us something about that beer?
Yeah, so that one is it's a triple IPA, probably one of my favorite beers. Actually, we just rebrewed it Thursday. That was my last brew day. But it's a beer that I named after my dad and my brother. So my dad and my brother's names are both Francisco. So so yeah, I named it after that. But it's a triple IPA. It's a hazy triple IPA. That beer, like I was telling you before, I needed something that was a little like a bridge beer for some consumers over here, and that beer is kind of a mixture of a hazy IPA and a West Coast IPA originally. So I used like a blend of different yeasts and stuff like that to kind of make it a little bit different. But yeah, now it's starting again. I'm changing that recipe little by little to make something a little different.
That's what's it clocking in percent of party. how much percent of party is
Over
it plugging over?
10%.
Yeah, it was over 10%, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you have
But
do you brew like many like boozy beers like imperial ales, or do you try to get to be all around the spectrum?
like last year and the year before, since we first opened up, I was kind of just brewing whatever, just trying to get as many different beer styles into people's hands and see what they liked, what they didn't like, what was working, what wasn't working over here. It seems now the craft beer people over here are starting to get big into IPAs. So that was my worry over here. In the States, if you go to a store to go buy beer, everything is in refrigerators.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is getting refrigerated from the brewery to the store. And over here, since they're used to Belgian style beers, they'll be sitting on the shelf for who knows how long in the middle of the summertime. So that was just a beer style I was really afraid to really push, but now it just seems more and more people over here are starting to understand, hey, we got to drink them fresh. Hey, we have to make sure we keep this cold. Because before I'd see people checking things in like a year later on Untapped, and I'm like, I don't even know where you bought this beer.
Yeah, that happens over here too with some imports that they just imports from the States or from other places that stay there in the fridges from the or in the shelves of the supermarket or in gas stations. Over here, they sell beer in gas stations, and sometimes they sit there in the fridge from the gas station for who knows how long. So it's always, look at the dates before you grab a beer in those places, because you never know, man, what you're getting.
Yeah, it's been a shift over here, just like it's been everywhere else. Now, the people over here are starting to understand more and more. It's just hard over here. You're coming from a beer mecca, and it's like here in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
everybody automatically thinks that they have um, the best beer in the world. So they don't, you know what I mean? So it's hard to change people's minds and loyalties, just like it is everywhere else. People have their brand that they're gonna drink no matter what, and that's it.
And what about the you're mentioned from what you're saying, like the craft scene is like growing and growing, steadily growing. How does the Belgian big beer companies are dealing with this? Like, are they like trying to stop it, or putting like resistance to it, or making you guys, the smaller guys, life a little bit more difficult or something like that, or are they like cool with it?
Yeah, right now the big player over here is AB InBev, like it is
Mm-hmm.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
Uh, it's Jupiler is the Budweiser of Belgium. So you see it everywhere. That's the cheapest thing you can get at the grocery store or wherever you buy your beer. And that's the beer at the bars you can get for $1, $2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the cheapest thing possible, and especially for college kids and all of that. That's what you're gonna see. Um, but AB InBev is buying out people just like everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And over here now, it's just the prices for everything are skyrocketing just like it is everywhere else. So ingredients are getting more and more expensive. Um, the electricity and gas and all of that is getting crazy expensive because of the war in Ukraine. So the thing with the big companies is they can keep their prices really, really, really low, and us as craft brewers have to keep bringing our price maybe just a little bit higher and higher. And
Oh, 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 oh. Perdimos a
Oh, what
Daniel.
happened?
Ya mismo entrará otra vez.
Perdimos a Daniel. Ahí está de nuevo. We lost you momentarily.
yeah, dude. I have some connection issues over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's get their price lower, and I think that's the biggest thing right now is the price difference. So you as a craft brewer trying to keep your prices competitive, and if you think of it over here in Belgium, you have like these old breweries like Chimay or something like that, where you have some of the world's best Belgian beers at the grocery store for $1.50, $2, and then
Yeah.
you see a craft beer right there for $4, $5, and you're like, I think I'll go with this one. So I think that's the biggest squeeze over here with big breweries versus small guys.
Okay. Yeah, the price, how to compete with the price range, and yeah, and as you mentioned, this is not the same as in the States that you would get that, but what you're talking about, that's $1 or $2 is just an American light lager, that it's not considered like the greatest beer in the world or something like that, versus like a Belgian beer like a Chimay or something like a Trappist, a Rushford or something like that. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's just the biggest thing. Like, and just like on in the States or anywhere else, when you have these small craft breweries coming out and they're representing the whole craft beer scene. So if people don't like one specific brewery's beers,
Right.
it's a wrap for everybody else. You know what I mean? So
Right. Same with a new style. When someone's trying a new style that you never tried before, you might get just one chance. Like that person would give it only one chance, and if he didn't like that one IPA, maybe they won't be open to try your IPA because they had one that they didn't like, and now and maybe yours they might like it. They might like yours if they tried it, but since they want the first one they tried they didn't like, they're not just they just close themselves off to keep trying different styles. Yeah, that happens everywhere too. Yeah. We always like to when we have someone for the first time. A question we like to ask is like when you're in the process of brewing the beer, like what kind of music do you like to listen to? Like, do you pop something in the background to listen to while you're doing that boil that takes like an hour and a half?
yep, 90s hip hop. That's it.
Yeah.
90s hip hop playlist on blasting. I'm sure anybody walking by the brewery is staring at us.
Like that's 90s, that's gangster, like East Coast versus West Coast. More East Coast, I gather, since you're from Connecticut. I'm guessing
Yep,
like Wu-Tang, Biggie.
exactly. Just some Wu-Tang, Nas, Biggie, yeah, Gangstar.
And
Nice, that's nice.
and talking about music, Norbert, you want to ask him about what I told you about, since you're a big punk and hardcore guy?
Oh yeah, Carlos told me yesterday about the collaboration with actually one of my favorite bands, Sick of It All. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was from a friend of mine. So a friend of mine, he's the head brewer at Deca Brewery. So it's in West Vleteren. So in Flanders, about an hour and a half from here, depending on traffic. And the brewing system that they have is from like the 1920s. He does huge batches, 3,000-liter batches. So he's a drummer for a hardcore band over here in Belgium, and so he knows the
Nice.
drummer Armand from Sick of It All. And last time that he came when they were on tour, they had some beers together with two other friends that are on the label as well, and they came up with a beer that they wanted to brew for the band. So we got together, came up with a recipe. We ended up doing like they wanted something that was still Belgian-esque, but still something new and something crafty. So we ended up using 100% Belgian grown hops. So we put that in there, dry hopped it, we went with a more balanced type of beer. So so we ended up doing all of that. We brewed, I think it was 700 cans or something like that. So it was super limited, and the band and my friend Jay were talking. We might brew something on the bigger scale to bring it up. They were supposed to be here for their European tour. They only went to, I think, Germany and the UK, and they're coming back this summer or later in the summer, and they'll be in Belgium. So we'll bring them the beers over there too. And if we do a bigger batch, we should be doing something more with them. So it was more like a test batch, test the waters a little bit, see if we are going to change the recipe at all, and then we'll see where we go from there.
I like the name.
That sounds pretty awesome. What's the name of the beer?
Sick of it ale.
Think of it, eh? Awesome. I like it. I like it. Man, I hope that came to fruition and the band can promote the beer on the European tour. That's something I would like to see. That's pretty awesome. I compare the craft beer scene all the time. People are probably tired of me saying this. The craft beer scene is way similar to the hardcore punk scene in terms of the DIY aspect. Sometimes even the imagery and everything, and sometimes both worlds can come together, and that's pretty good to know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for smaller breweries is you're more nimble. You're more flexible. You can do more things. And if something works or it doesn't work, it's not gonna destroy your business. You know what I mean? So we've done collaborations with a fine dining restaurant. We've done collaborations with a coffee roaster from our area. And I just think working with other small businesses as well helps both of us out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, and something that happens in Minnesota too. Minnesota small businesses are way open to collaborating. So yeah, that's something really cool that I see here too.
Yeah, everywhere I've been, and when you meet people from the craft beer scene or the microbrewery scene, however you want to call it, it's all beer anyway. But they like there's a sense of community, right? Like of helping each other out, trying to collaborate. Since it's like sometimes it feels like us against them, like the smaller guys versus the big guys, but it's not really it's just trying to make an effort to all of them getting noticed, like all the smaller businesses getting noticed more than anything, I feel.
Yeah, over here it's still like that. The craft beer scene is so small here. We're in a small country in Europe, so everybody knows everybody. You go to a few beer festivals, and now you met all the other brewers, and so it's very collaborative. I had if I have any questions, if I had any issues, I've contacted other brewers and no issues, man. They'll tell me their pricing. They'll send me information that is like private information. You know what I mean? Like for the business, and don't think anything of it. It's the same thing. If somebody's asked me something, I've given them documents and spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff to help other people out, man. It's if more people are drinking craft beer, that's only going to help us. So
yeah, and among the guys, among other breweries that are like you are trying to like doing this what the what the Belgian public would call experimental styles, but really American styles. Amongst yourselves, do you like? Is there like someone? I mean, there's Diaz, who's obviously been voted like one of the best. Is there another brewery that you would recommend the same style as you guys?
Yeah, I think in a bunch of different areas in Belgium, there's kind of like the king of the area for craft beer. Like if you're in Brussels, there's La Source. They got a nice tap room. If you're in Brussels, that's the place I would say to go hit up. Um, if if you want to go into the middle of the forest in eastern Belgium, then you've got Misery. So they're in the same French-speaking area that we are, but like an hour and a half away. They're doing a lot of experimental stuff, and and but they're staying true to their roots too. So they're doing more like a core range of beers, and they're always brewing the same kind of stuff over and over again. But it's all really good quality stuff. And it really depends on what style of beer that you like. It seems like a lot of the breweries over here are focusing on either they like imperial stouts, they only brew imperial stouts. These guys, if they like IPAs, they're only really brewing IPAs. If they're into sours or anything like that, they're only doing fruited sours. So with IPAs usually.
Okay, so like they're specializing in a certain style. So yeah, cool. And what about you guys? Do you have like a flagship beer that you do year round, or are you all the time like putting out different stuff?
Um, right now we were brewing pretty much a new beer all the time. When we first started, because I had the brewery open and I was still working my main job at the same time. So I only had enough time to really brew a few times per month or whatever. So I was only putting out, let's say, 4 beers per month. And I didn't want to put the same 4 beers out. And I kind of wanted to see what styles of beer people were liking and all of that. This year we started to brew more, trying to brew the same stuff over and over again, but I still wouldn't call it like a core range. I would still say it's seasonal. Once it gets a little bit warmer out, spring, summer, I do a lot more IPAs or like fruited sour beers or sour IPAs, things like that. And then towards the end of summer, I start brewing all my big beers, all my stouts, Belgian quadruple, barley wines, stuff like that. So then they're ready for the colder months over here.
Yeah.
but yeah, most of my stuff is still rotational. So a lot of the same brands we're rebrewing. It just might be a different recipe.
Okay. And you mentioned out now the Diaz de los Muertos and then the Rose de los Diaz. Those two are like the ones that are currently out there available, right? And then you mentioned that you just brewed the new version of Frank the Tank. Anything else that's coming up the pipeline? Maybe an event or any beer fest that you're gonna be in?
Yeah, we last year when I met you guys, we were like burnt out. It's literally only me and my wife. So my wife does all of the admin stuff, and of course I'm doing all the brewing, all the sales, all the deliveries, all of that. And my wife's little brother does a lot for us, man. He comes out, helps brew, helps me during canning days. So yeah, I couldn't do it without him. But so last year we got burnt out doing at least 1 beer festival per month, starting in March, and then but most of that was all in Flanders where they speak Dutch. So all of them were at least 1.5-hour drive there, 1.5-hour drive back. And it was a lot of the locations that we weren't even in the market over there. I didn't have any bottle shops or bars or anything that I was working with over there. So this year we're doing a lot more local stuff. We'll be doing some tastings, also doing some beer pairings with the fine dining restaurant. And yeah, all local stuff this year. So
Okay.
it'll be all smaller stuff.
But there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it never stops, man.
Yeah, that's how you got to do. That's what you got to do. So I think if anyone in the audience has any questions for Daniel or anything, shoot it up in the comments, right? Por ahí, Angel Mantilla, he had said, "Good to see my brother, Dream Team." Over here and through Instagram, Beer Me Home. Saludos, Corillo, a bronchear ahora. Está Beer Me Home por ahí estaba conectado. Beer Me Home is a local craft beer bar. Good friends and really cool stuff. They actually did a beer fest a couple of weekends ago that was really cool. Like almost all of the small breweries from Puerto Rico were there, and it was really good. Really hot, but really good.
So how's the scene over there?
There's about 20 something microbreweries. And yeah, they're all just really small. Most of them are really small breweries. Like they ranging from like 3 bottle system to there's others that are a little bigger. But yeah, it's been like last 10 years is that it's been like flourishing a little more, like constantly flourishing. There's one thing that's always been an issue with the here in Puerto Rico, obviously, is the raw material. Like the hops don't grow here, barley doesn't grow here, so everything has to be imported from outside. So that drives the cost up for everyone, for all the breweries anyway. So that's one of the issues: high utility prices. And Jorge Castro here in the comments, he's from Box Lab Brewing, the brewery here from where our local brewery where we live here. And he's saying, pregúntale cómo es la cosa con los permisos allá. How is the permits?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, over here, just like one thing. Over here, like I was telling you before, all the traditional breweries, they got their 3 or 4 beers that they produce year round, and that's it. They don't come out with another beer. And then brewers are like us, where we're coming out with newer brands. A lot of the time, we have to contact like the government agency. They have to come get samples of the beer every single time it's a new brand. So they come, they get samples of the beer, they test it for ABV, all of that kind of stuff to make sure everything is legit on your labels. And that's just one thing, but the permits are just like it is everywhere else. You still have to deal with the health and safety department. You still have to deal with excise for taxes and all of that.
Is the process like quick enough, or is that's one thing that over here in Puerto Rico, like many businesses, actually Frank can talk about that. Frank is actually has more experience trying to set up a business, and he's dealing with that right now with how
A lot of red tape. Yeah.
all the red tape and how confusing it could be, which permits you need for what, and how long it takes to actually get a permit approved, the different permits approved and all that.
Yeah, it for a brewery, you still have to deal with the cool thing that we dealt with over here is there's a government organization that'll help you with the starting of the business process. So they're the ones who deal with like the government side of things. So you fill out your documentation and everything like that, and then they're the ones who forward it. If there's any issues, they'll contact you. So it's almost like you have a special, like an agent that's working with you specifically for your business. But then when it comes to like the beer side of things, then it's the excise. You have to have your plan. You have to have they have to come to inspect your location before you start. Then the same thing with the health department. The the health side of things, that's a little bit better because they give you a 90-day window. So once everything else is approved and the health department is going to come check your location, they say if somebody doesn't come within that 90-day window, you're authorized to start. And then then after that, then they
I
come.
like that because it kind of holds holding themselves accountable for not doing their job on time.
So that's the only good part about that. But yeah, everything else, and Belgium in general for anything, it's a headache.
Yeah,
Especially where we're at. Like I said, we're about an hour away from the capital, but everything goes through the capital. So if you need to get anything done, you're driving an hour to Brussels just to get things accomplished.
okay. Yeah, over here it sounds a little somewhat similar to over here, but over here, what I always
Yeah.
what I always hear from the guys here in the breweries is the thing about the permits, how long it takes, and also as I said, like the craft beer scene, it's been only for like I don't know 10, 15 years here in Puerto Rico, and usually like before that there was only one brewery here, basically that's Medalla. It's the big brewery here in Puerto Rico, so that was the only one. So when this smaller breweries started popping up, like basically government didn't know how to work with it, how to deal with it. Like they didn't know like what is that like. And they would treat them the same way they would treat Medalla that produces thousands of
Yeah.
a lot higher volume, and the taxes that they were trying to apply were the same that they would apply to Medalla, and that wouldn't make sense for a small batch brewery. Like, so that's stuff that has been the they've been fighting for that. They got like 5-6 years ago they got a reduction on the taxes. One of the things that's really odd that I don't know if they do anywhere else in the world is like there's it's the the equivalent to IRS, like the tax department here, Hacienda. There has to be an agent of Hacienda every time you're gonna bottle your basically bottle or keg your beer. Like every time you're gonna empty a fermenter, there's gotta be there an agent to validate how much volume you're pouring out. He'll give you like a receipt with the taxes that you have to pay before you even sell the beer.
In some cases, they even put a lock on the tanks so you can't open the valves.
Without them being there. That's
No, that's not that bad. That's not that bad.
So that's
Wow.
Now over here, we just have to have they can come inspect you whenever, and so all your inventory for like raw ingredients has to match what you currently have like in your storage for ingredients. Every time you brew, you have to have a brew log to say which beer you're brewing, what the alcohol percentage is for that beer, and if they were to show up, they can test it right then and there to make sure it's the right alcohol percentage. And then also all your fermenters have to be numbered or named or whatever. And yeah, so if they came in, they're gonna say, "Hey, what's in this tank right here?" Oh, yep, it should be this one right here that you submitted. And every time you're gonna brew a beer, you're supposed to send it to them 72 hours prior, so they know which beer you're brewing, which day, what time that you're supposed to start and end. Just in case they want to pop in, they can send one of the agents out here to do the same thing, to test your thing, to see what the alcohol percentage is. And
so it's more about regarding what that you're producing, what you have the permits, like the permits that you have to produce. Like you have a permit to produce this specific beer, so it's just checking that you're actually producing that product. You're not producing something else that's not registered or you didn't pay for, you didn't have a permit for.
Yeah, because for the taxes, you're paying for the alcohol percentage over here. So if it's a 10% beer, you're paying X amount, and if it's a 2% beer, obviously it's a lot less. So they don't want you to say you're brewing a 2% beer and then actually brewing a 10% beer.
Okay. I think that makes more sense that what they do here, that it's in regards to volume and the way they do it, and being so like metido ahí, como que están ahí right there, you know.
Yeah, right on your ass. But again, nothing in Puerto Rico makes sense anyway, so that's okay.
Sabriel Ortiz, he's the owner of Ingeniero Microbrewery in Manatí, and he's saying what Frank was saying. Like, he's saying that his tanks still have locks over there in Manatí.
Man, nah, they don't go that far over here, but yeah, I would be mad if somebody's right over my shoulder watching me move something from one tank to another, or nah, man.
Yeah, it's like basically whenever you're gonna empty a keg, a tank to fill up bottles, cans, kegs, anything. Whenever you're going to basically bottle your beer, there has to be somewhere there, which is like I don't know, like it's not like what if you're canning beer or bottling beer that you're not gonna even try to sell, like it's for something else. Like I don't know, it's odd to me, all that process and that thing. Like if you really wanted to tax because of the output of beer, I don't know, have a meter installed in the out of the tanks or something like that, because that's another thing. Let's say I've heard this from brewers here in Puerto Rico, like, okay, I have this beer, I have to bottle it this day, and I have to do it that day, right? And because I have, it's a cycle, and I have to use that tank for another thing, and if I leave the beer there more time, it's not gonna come out anyway the way I want it to come out. And it sometimes happens that the agent from Hacienda doesn't appear on time, or doesn't appear that day, or doesn't appear for days, and you end up having to throw away a batch because of the government. That's effed up. That's fucked up,
Yeah, that's crazy. Nah.
And here Jorge Castro from Buslack is saying that even if you are not going to sell the beer, you have to anyway pay that excise tax, that doesn't make any sense to me. But
that's the same for us too. They tell us anything that's produced on your system, you have to pay the tax for. It's since now the equipment or whatever is dedicated as commercial use. Now you have to pay the taxes no matter what. So even if I wanted to brew a batch of beer for, I don't know, a party for myself, I would have to still pay the taxes on it.
Damn, that's
insane. And meanwhile, all these big corporations are tax exempt, and yeah, it's a fucked up system. It is.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that's something in common, right? From what I can see from everywhere, like how permits, taxes, and all that. And I don't know of a country where it actually favors the small guy.
Yeah,
bureaucracy is everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, they have these big breweries over here, but I think the saving grace over here is there's a lot of family breweries, smaller family breweries throughout the years. So it helps out a little bit, but it's still the same thing. Every time people from the government come, or you're trying to get permits or anything, they're expecting you to be some huge corporation. And I'm like, no, man, this is all I got.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding anything, man.
Yeah, that's the thing about Belgium, right? Like, it's beer is really in the culture. Like, it's really in there in the culture of the people in Belgium and your everyday life. Like, once we arrived there, we got off the plane, and basically it was all beer and chocolate everywhere. And you can see it. Like, the drinking age over there is like 16 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's The legal age is 16, but they don't card anybody really. So you can, if you look old enough, you're all right.
Yeah, like over here in Puerto Rico is 18, but we've been drinking since like
Same thing.
13, right?
Yeah, United States is another story. Sometimes I get caught. Like I got gray hair. I got gray hair. My eyes, everything. I look 40 years old. I look my age, and yeah, it's like
Oh man.
I need your ID. Why? I'm an old guy.
I could be your father. What are you talking
I
about?
can be your father, you know. Yeah.
Oh man. No, I haven't been carded over here since I've been here. So I guess.
Yeah, that's true. When we were there, we didn't get carded or anything. Like it was just going through everywhere, like just fine, you know. But yeah, I noticed that like beer, it's a country where beer is really it's really inserted, really inserted into the culture, and they treat the big beers, and I saw it because of the Belgian Beer Week right there at Brussels, like before the festival is open for the public, like they have their own ceremony for the big head honchos of the big breweries and all that, and you see them with their suits and their whole thing, and like some togas or shit. I don't know. Like it's something
Yeah.
weird, like as if it's as if they were like part of some parliament or something, or like something like
It
something
looks like
weird.
they're part of some secret society that we
Yeah,
don't know about.
yeah, like it's like okay, and then the impression I got coming from outside, like I don't know much about the culture, but it's like, are these guys like are the heads of the brewers like the Illuminati in Belgium or something like that? Because they're dressing like they have a lot of power here in this country, and
Yeah.
perhaps they do. I mean, they
If
move
you
a lot
look
of
at
money.
the-
InBev moves a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at like, I just Googled it one time just out of curiosity, like the richest people in Belgium, and if you look at like the top 50 or whatever, it's like mainly people in the brewing industry, and then random people in there somewhere. But yeah, there's a lot of
That's like
money.
Yeah, that's like the if I don't know, like technology in California or like in Silicon Valley, like Belgium is a Silicon Valley of just beer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, well, um, we always talk about beer, but we also like to talk about movies to close out the show. I don't know how your taste in movies is, but I always we like to ask each other this question, like just basically, what was the last movie you watched from start to finish? It doesn't have to be a new movie. It doesn't matter what it was. If you remember, like maybe something you watch with, if I don't know if you got kids, but if it was something you watch with your kids or something you watch in the train on the commute from somewhere to somewhere.
The last thing I watched was the new X-Men series '97, but
How do you like that?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
love the new
Relax.
animations are crazy. It still had the old school feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about. I thought they were gonna try to make it more Disney like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was worried about that too, and I thought I was worried about them, um, like directing it towards kids from now, like kids these
Yep.
days who never saw the '90s cartoon. But no, this is for us who were kids in the '90s and now
For
we're
40-year-olds.
adults. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
this is
Yeah,
definitely
it was for us. Yeah.
it was for us.
It was a little bit more mature and everything. Like they obviously made it for nostalgia reasons, and
Yeah.
it's still so freaking cool. Like I love every episode. I really love this series. It's so good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. I think I probably missed a couple things, but yeah, I started watching that. Movie wise, I think probably just old movies. I think I probably watched 300. That's probably my last movie I had put on in the brewery when we were just brewing. I put some some random stuff on. So
for inspiration. Let's make
yeah,
a,
you know,
let's make a, I'm gonna do a Sparta nail.
this is Sparta.
300. I haven't seen 300 in a long time.
Me neither. I haven't seen it in a while,
I
but
remember
it's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, I remember watching it in the theater and feel my beard grow as I watched it. Like so much testosterone was pouring out of that movie.
Yeah.
I could feel my beard grow as I watched it. But yeah, it's been a long time. Frank, what do you remember the last movie you watched? You watch
I
anything?
do. It's the same movie I talked about last week, Madam Web.
Oh, you
I
haven't
haven't
watched
seen anything.
anything after that?
You haven't watched anything?
I don't know where the
Um,
week went.
yeah, that happens. Norbert, do you have? Well, you're always watching movies. Norbert actually has his own web page of movie reviews and all that. The smallreviews.com.
Ah,
Anyone's
nice.
watching. So
Yeah. I haven't watched too much this week because I've been busy with other shit, but I did watch Furiosa last Friday with the kids. I took everyone to the theater. Let's watch Furiosa. I
that's
love
what.
Mad Max, and this new movie is no exception. It's a fucking cool movie, man. It's great. I like it. I like Furiosa, man. It's a great movie.
I'm
Uh,
gonna I'm gonna watch it
not
tomorrow.
only got the action that Mad Max is known for, the characters got there's nuance in the characters, and I like it because of that. Because Fury Road was like a silent movie almost, and this got too much dialogue, and this explains the lore of the Fury Road movie. Not necessarily the Mel Gibson movies, but the Fury Road movies. It explains the lore behind everything that happened in Fury Road, which is one of my favorite movies, and I really love it. I really love Furiosa. It's a great movie.
I plan on watching it tomorrow. Going to the theater to watch Furiosa tomorrow, and
Yeah, dude, watch it.
that and because of that, the last movie I watched is actually Fury Road. I rewatched it.
Fury Road. You're pre-gaming for Furiosa.
Yeah, and I love that movie. I've always loved the Mad Max movies, and Fury Road to me was like the most metal shit I've ever seen in in a theater. But
Yeah.
and I'm expecting Furiosa to be cool. You know, I don't expect it to be better than Fury Road because I love Fury Road so much. But if it's as good as Road Warrior or somewhere in between, or the first Mad Max, you know, as long as it's better than Thunderdome, I'm cool with it.
It's as good as everything. It's as good as the other Mad Max movies. Like Fury Road is a perfect movie. Don't expect a perfect movie, but it's as good as Mad Max. Like it's
Yeah.
good.
So I was gonna start watching. That was on Thursday or Friday. I was gonna start watching Thunderdome because it's the one I've watched the least and the one that I remember the least. But then Tommy, who just got disconnected, I don't know why. He just arrived here, and Frank was right there in the front yard too. So we just hung out, and you know, I never hit play again. So it's there on my queue because I want to revisit it. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna watch Furiosa on Fury Road. If that I love that movie. That's all Mad Max movies, by the way, are available in HBO Max to stream. At least here in America. I don't know how over there in Europe, like if there's the same streaming services are available over there, or if it changes somewhat. I know
Yeah,
from
VPN.
VPN. You use VPN for yeah.
right.
Yeah, and they have they still got everything else like Netflix, all of that over here, but it changes it to like European movies and TV shows and all that. So normally we just use a VPN and use the Get the stuff from the States instead.
Nice. That's cool. Sometimes I do otherwise. Like I wanna check if Netflix doesn't have anything in the States. I check if they have it on Canada or France or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do the same thing over here too, and keep switching it up, trying to figure out if I could find something.
Yeah,
we did it.
When we're staying there, when we were staying at Brussels, and when we got back to the Airbnb that we were staying at, we just put up the TV and start browsing and see what was there because it's a different continent. It's completely different. And see what was there, and there was this show. Remember, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
That it was like a dating show. It's an older show, by the way, but we've never seen it over here in Puerto
It's
Rico
on
or in the
HBO.
States.
It's on HBO now, by the way.
Yeah, now it is in HBO Max after we came back from the trip, but it wasn't that then, and it is a British show, a dating show, where you would look at like the if you're the contestant, right, and you're looking to choose your date with someone. They have like 5 6 people, but you only see they start off and you only see them from the waist down, but they're fully naked.
What?
Yeah.
I heard about that show. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. Oh
So
my God, you watched that?
Yeah,
I wanna watch it.
that was playing every time we I don't know
12
anytime
seasons.
yeah, how many seasons?
12.
12 seasons.
Jesus.
Well,
12 seasons of naked people.
every day when we got back to Brussels and we got to the apartment.
You couldn't wait to get back, huh?
we put on the TV and it was I don't know, it was playing always at the time that we got back home. And
But it was
so-
mostly just naked dudes too. It's not like sexy naked women all the time.
and that was it wasn't that depending on the age, like there were like older people participating too, and it was weird but it was funny too. It's unedited, like it's not edited at all, like it's not censored or anything, but you have like the contestant looking at the junk of someone else and judging if I'm going to eliminate this person or I'm gonna if this person is gonna go to the next round just based on their junk, like right there, looking at their vagina or their penis, like.
The
and
face
then
is the last thing you see.
Yeah.
They start raising the curtain, so you see the legs, the middle.
the next round is like from the neck down, and then
No, that-
and then the next round the contestant has to get naked so they can see you naked.
Oh man.
It's just,
and that was on TV.
yeah,
Man, I watch many European movies mainly for blogging reasons and whatever, just because I like it. And yeah, Europeans are not afraid of showing junk.
Yeah,
They're
definitely
not
not.
afraid of naked men.
but yeah. Anyway, before we go, I just want to share another beer that I opened up. That I'm already halfway through. Another light beer. This is a lager from Tripping Animals called Roger Dad, 6% ABV. The little cool octopus right there, like with the sunglasses and everything. Roger Dad, really cool lager from Tripping Animals over there in Doral, Florida. I really love the stuff that they do. Last night, I almost had the opportunity to try one of their BA stouts, but they dragged me out of the place. My wife dragged me out of the place before we could actually open that. But
Yeah, I'm drinking. Yeah, I'm drinking something else too. It's on the lighter side too. 4.6. What a coincidence. This is a cream ale. Cream ales are huge in Minnesota for some reason, and this is all from Bad Weather Brewing here in St. Paul. This is an orange cream ale, and it tastes like that. It tastes like an orange cream ale. And showing it.
is that like a
Yeah.
like a Sasquatch in the label, or what is that?
Yeah, this is a Sasquatch hanging out. Look at this. This brewery has some nice art in the cans. I like it. Bad weather in St. Paul. Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
So yeah, Daniel, gracias, mano, por aceptar la invitación. Thank you for being here. I think this was a great conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and anytime, bro. Like, I mean, you're a cool dude. I like what you're doing over there, and what's happening in Belgium. It's really interesting with the smaller breweries, like slowly but steady, like getting traction and getting more of the market, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So best luck and success to you and everybody who's represented like the small breweries. We're all for that.
I appreciate it. Like you were saying earlier, if there's anybody coming out this way, reach out to me. I'll let you know where to go. If you're looking for something specific, send me a message. I got you.
Yeah, and I can attest to that when I reached out to you guys to Diaz Brewing was because as soon as we knew that we were planning the trip and we know we're going to Belgium, and one of the things I said, like, I know there's a Puerto Rican that has a microbrewery over there. I like to meet that person. I like to get to know them or meet up with them. So I contacted you guys, and you were really responsive. You were the ones who actually told us about the Gebrande winning festival. I enjoyed it even more than the Belgian craft beer week in Brussels, because it was more about the smaller breweries, and you had breweries from Africa, from South Africa, from the States, from Germany, from Spain, from like all around the world. Like it was crazy. Like it was a really cool beer fest.
Yeah, that beer fest is great. They do it every. Last year was the first one since before COVID, but that restaurant right there has they will always win like best beer restaurant in the world, or at least top 5 every year. They've got some crazy bottles in their basement.
Yeah, and it's a really good restaurant. I took the dinner package that they had for that day, and it was like a 4-course meal, every course paired with a different beer from different places around the world, and it was a really great experience. And thanks for recommending that. And anyway, you were gonna be there that weekend, and it was either that or not meeting you. So yeah, but thank you, because that beer fest was really cool. I mean, and anyone who's, as you said, right, Diaz Brewing Diaz Brewing on Instagram to reach out.
Diaz Brewing Company, Instagram, Facebook. DiazBrewingCompany.com is our website and web shop. Just reach out to me.
So, gracias, mano, de nuevo otra vez por estar aquí. Best of luck. Hey, and if you ever come to Puerto Rico again, because I know you visited years ago, but whenever you're in Puerto Rico, like, you can let me know too. Like, we can plan out like a road trip and visit some breweries over here.
Yeah, definely. I'll definitely reach out.
So over there, the closest to Maunabo is Dragonstone Abbey. That they actually do Belgian beers is their specialty, Belgian style. So, but from there to Ocean Lab, it's like really close by, and there in Carolina, there's Lúpulos Hermano, Alta Harbor, and if we get to San Juan, there's Cervecería del Callejón. We can do like a pretty cool road trip and visit some breweries from around here. So if you're ever here in the island, let us know, man. You can plan something out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, habiendo dicho eso, de nuevo, gracias, y nos vemos el lunes de la semana que viene. Entiendo que vamos a estar con los organizadores de la Copa Quetzal de Ecuador, la competencia se supone que eso es lo que viene. Pero nada, gracias por sintonizar. Nosotros de aquí nos vamos para la grifería a probar las cervezas ahumadas de Cervezas Camacho en colaboración con Reina Mora Brewing. Habiendo dicho eso, pues salud, cabrones.
Salud.
The gimmick. It's the gimmick.
Ya llegó el coño show, el coño show. Pam pam para pam 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 para pam 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 para pam pam. Ya llegó el coño show, el coño show, el coño show, el coño show. Wow.